Hey everybody, and welcome to Crossing Kin. I'm Kristen, and as y'all can see, I'm riding solo today. Mostly because today I'm talking about something Daddy and I disagree on. So, you guys remember last year, my dad did a video on covers, and take your bingo cards out. He made the statement that the cover is never as good as the original. This is a statement that I personally disagree with. Now, while I would not go so far as to say I think every time covers are better than the original, I think a lot of covers are just as good as the original. There are, in my opinion, far more covers that are just as good as the original than there are covers that are worse than the original. Sometimes it's just different. And I will even admit, sometimes it's down to whichever version you heard first. There are even some of those that we're going to talk about today that I prefer mostly because I heard them first. Now, again, this is kind of based off of my own bias. I like some of these songs a little bit more than the original, and I will do my best to put my biases away, but everybody has their own opinion on music. You guys are welcome to yours. I'm welcome to mine. Dad's welcome to his. So today we're going to be discussing some covers. Now, this is in no particular order, so do not be alarmed when some classic covers are a little bit further down on my list. I made this list as I was going about my days, and it is not in order of how much I like them. I'm going to run through it kind of quickly, stopping on particular songs and artists as we go along. So let's go. Let's waste no time. Let's go. First off, Don't Let Me Be Misunderstood. This has been covered a few times, and the ones that I want to highlight today, it was originally done by the Animals. We actually talked about it in mine and Dad's video on the British invasion, and it's been covered by a few people. I think I even said that in our British invasion video. The people that I want to highlight, the versions I want to highlight, are Santa Esmeralda and Jack Ross. Now, the Jack Ross version is the version I like, not better than the original. I think I like it about as much as the original, but I like it mostly because it is now associated with my favorite TV show, Leverage. And because of that, I have a deep fondness for it. Although the kind of disco-y version by Santa Esmeralda is very, very good as well. Moving right along, we have Fast Car by Christian Keynes, originally performed by Tracy Chapman. Um, Speaking of Leverage, this is the gentleman who plays Elliot Spencer in the TV show Leverage. If you didn't know, he also has a small music career. Mostly it's kind of rock country inspired, but he does do a really great cover of Fast Car by Tracy Chapman. I've heard both versions and they're very very similar. I think Christian's has a little bit more of a an electric guitar groove to it. Now, I could be wrong. You guys feel free to sound off in the comments. I will be linking some, not all, but some of these songs down in the description, and Christian's version of Fast Car is definitely one that's going to be there. Um, but yeah, I really like Christian's version. I think it is just as good as the original. I'm not sure. I think it might even overtake the original, in my opinion. You guys sound off in the comments if you think that is a good take on this. Up next, we have Hurt, originally by Nine Inch Nails, covered amazingly by Johnny Cash. I believe this was one of Johnny Cash's last hits before his death, and it is amazing. I love this song. It is a very, very sad song, but it is done so beautifully by Johnny Cash. It's slowed down. It's got a real blues, um, country feel, and I really really love Hurt by Johnny Cash. I believe it was used in the trailer for Logan. And I know it's been used in other media as well. Yeah, Hurt by Johnny Cash. It's a great song. Originally by Nine Inch Nails. Another cover. We're going to be talking about a lot of covers today. We're also going to be talking about some medleys, and the next song on my list is that. Now, of the opinion, you guys are more than welcome to disagree with me, but I'm of the opinion that medleys also count as covers because usually it's one artist and we just run through their whole discography. That is not the case with the next song we're talking about, however. This is Forever Country, which was done for one of the country award shows several years ago. The songs in it are I Will Always Love You, Take Me Home Country Roads, and On the Road Again by various artists. I believe it's Dolly Parton, John Denver, and Willie Nelson. But pretty much everybody, every major country singer at the time is in this video. Like everybody. We've got Dolly, Reba, Willie, um, but we've also got Carrie, Brad, Blake, and Luke. Like we've got everybody is in this music video. Its music video is amazing. It's one of those songs that makes me cry. It's a beautiful medley of three amazing country songs. And I absolutely love it. And they're all beautiful covers. Like the way they arranged it, these covers is just so lovely. I absolutely adore that song. Dad has told me that it doesn't necessarily count as a cover because it's a medley. You guys sound off in the comments if I'm right and it does count as a cover, or if Dad's right and it doesn't. Please let me know. Up next, we have Baby I Love Your Way, originally by Peter Frampton. The cover I am talking about is by Big Mountain. Now, I'm going to say this now. I prefer this version of Baby I Love Your Way over the Frampton original. I love this version. And not just because it was included in Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, as well as The Next Level. This is the song that Karen Gillan does her dance fighting to in that movie, and I absolutely adore those scenes. But this song just has a much better groove than the weird ballad version that Frampton does. And I'm glad that Big Mountain found this song and gave it that kind of I don't know, is it reggae? Somebody tell me what style it is. But I think it's meant to be reggae, but I adore it. I adore it. This is one of those songs that I listen to on road trips all the time, and I usually listen to it twice just because I like it so much. This is one of those songs that I absolutely prefer the cover to the original. Up next, we've got When the Lights Went Out in Georgia. This was originally done by Vicki Lawrence. For those of you from my generation, she was Mamaw in Hannah Montana. Uh, but the cover is what's better known. The version by Reba McEntire is what is better known. And the opinion they're both good. It's not one of my favorite songs of all time, but it is a very classic cover. I will always prefer Reba. Just full stop. Reba is one of my favorite country artists, so I'll always prefer her version of a song over anybody else's. Sorry, Vicki Lawrence, but Reba kind of owns the song now. Life is a Highway. There are a lot of country covers. Have you guys noticed that? Like, it seems country songs are the ones that are more easily covered. Is that a thing? Is that something anybody else has ever noticed that country songs are just easier to cover? I don't know. Let me know down in the comments. But up next, we've got Life is a Highway, originally by Tom Cochrane, best covered by Rascal Flatts for the Pixar film Cars. Now, this is another one of those. I prefer the cover to the original version of this song. This is one of those where I have the bias of the Rascal Flatts version is the version I heard originally, and so it's the version that I have more of a nostalgia for. To me, it has more of a rock groove with it, which I know sounds weird because it's a country group and I think the original song was actually done by a rock artist. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. Um, but yeah, I think this song fits Rascal Flatts so well. And it's a great cover of Tom Cochrane's original song. So yeah, it's one of those that I prefer to to the original. Daddy is probably gonna be mad when he sees this. He's not gonna appreciate that opinion. All right, up next we have I Will Always Love You, originally by Dolly Parton, as mentioned a little bit ago, best known as Whitney Houston's cover. Now, everybody knows the history of this song. Elvis wanted to cover it, Dolly told him no. Years later, Whitney wanted to cover it for the film The Bodyguard, and Dolly said yes, and now there are people that don't even realize it's a Dolly Parton song. I like both versions for very different reasons. I like the sweet simplicity of Dolly's version, and then I love the power ballad of Whitney's version. I can't decide which version I like better. To me, they are done so differently that it is almost impossible to pick between them because they really are at that point in two different genres. Um I don't have a favorite between these two. I like them equally. The cover is just as good as the original. Up next, we have Nothing Compares to You by Sinead O'Connor, originally done by Prince's funk band, The Family. Now, I'll admit I don't know that much about this song. I've heard Sinead's version and I've heard pieces of Prince's version. I think they're both fine. I think they're both good. I know that Sinead probably went higher in the charts with this one than The Family did, but that's about all I have to say about that. Like I said, I don't know this song very well, but it's one of those that always appears on people's favorite covers list, so I felt I needed to mention it. Um, Up next, we have To Make You Feel My Love, originally done by Bob Dylan, and it's been covered a lot, but I want to highlight Billy Joel's version. Um, Mostly because I love Billy Joel. Billy Joel's is the version that I prefer because it's the first version I ever heard. I didn't even know until more recently when it was covered by somebody else that I'm going to mention here in a little bit that it was Bob Dylan that originally did it. I thought that the band was making a mistake when they were associating it with Bob Dylan instead of Billy Joel. I was very surprised when they were covering it because I thought it was a Billy Joel song, and that band doesn't normally cover Billy Joel songs. So, but we'll get to them in a minute. Um, Up next, we have Running Up That Hill by Placebo. If you have never heard of this band, I don't blame you. I think this may have been their only hit, and I don't even know if it was a hit. I just know that it got used at the end of multiple TV shows in the mid to late 2000s. It was on like every single pop and teen drama there for a minute. And then it got revived, but it got revived in its original version. I Am I the only person that didn't know this was a cover? Like, I didn't. I had no idea. I thought this song was originally done by this band and it was just something that got put at the end of TV shows. Then Stranger Things goes and has the original Kate Bush version, which is awesome, uh, played throughout the bulk of Stranger Things season 4. So I'm just sitting there like, no, this is a cover? Or the version I know is a cover? Like, it blew my mind. I didn't realize it was a cover because Placebo does such a good job with it. I legitimately thought it was their song. So kudos to them. I like both versions. All right. Now we're going to talk about some people that they do covers for a living. While they do have original music and their original stuff is great, like absolutely great, they have a ton of covers. So we're going to talk about these people real quick. First up, let's talk about Linda Ronstadt. I have no way of confirming this, but when I Googled, it said that she had well over 200 covers in her discography. Please, if you can list all those covers, please do, because the thing I was looking at was not doing it for me for some reason. I don't know why. But it said she had like 200, if not more, covers in her discography. I knew she had a lot of covers in her career. I didn't think it was that many. Like, holy smokes, Linda. But she all did every song well. Some of her best known were When Will I Be Loved and Tumbling Dice. I don't know who originally did those songs. Please let me know down in the comments below if you do. But I love Linda Ronstadt anyway, so her being the queen of covers was wonderful because it meant that I got to talk about her in this video. Up next, we have one of my favorite bands, Home Free. Now, I've talked about Home Free a few times on this channel, probably in our tribute to Time, which I will link above my head. But they are an a cappella band and that won a show called The Sing Off, which was basically them performing a bunch of covers. Their most well known on that show was probably Ring of Fire because their bass hit a note that most humans cannot hit. Even normal basses cannot hit this note because it tends to break subwoofers. But they have gone on to do several albums. They've changed band members a few times, but the core three that most people remember from the sing off are still there. And they still do several covers. I know that at the time of this video being recorded, they're about to release a song by Jelly Roll. Originally, like I said, one of their best known is probably Ring of Fire by Johnny Cash. They also have a great version of Man of Constant Sorrow by the Soggy Bottom Boys, as well as a pretty darn good version of Take Me Home by John Denver. Um, they have so many amazing covers that I can't sit here and list them. This video would be so much longer than I want it to be if I were to do that. So I'm just going to leave it at this. I'm going to link Home Free's YouTube channel down in the description. Please go and check them out. They are absolutely amazing and I love them very, very much. As I said, they're one of my favorite bands. Moving on from Home Free, we have Pentatonix. Now, I don't follow Pentatonix as closely as I used to, but their covers are equally amazing. I love they too are from the Sing Off, and I love their version of Video Killed the Radio Star by the Buggles. I really wish they had come back and done a full version of that, but I understand why they didn't. That song is really repetitive. Um, their Daft Punk medley is absolutely amazing, and I think it won them their first Grammy. I could be wrong, but I think it did. Um, they also have a really great version of Rather Be. I'm not certain who the original artist is, but I do know that it is a cover. Um, and I love their La La Latch mashup, which I think are both by Sam Smith. I could be wrong there. Please let me know the original artist down the video. I don't know a lot of modern pop artists, so some of the Pentatonix songs I have a harder time knowing the artist for. So if you know them, please let me know down in the comments below. I also like their version of Havana as well as their mashup of Despacito with Shape of You by Ed Sheeran. Um, as I said, Pentatonix does a lot of really great covers. I don't follow them as much as I used to, but they are still a band that I hold close to my heart. Up next, we're going to talk about Peter Hollins. He too is an a cappella artist, and he's done a lot of amazing Disney covers as well as Lord of the Rings covers. He is kind of an underrated artist, mostly because all of his stuff is primarily performed on YouTube. Um, to my knowledge, he was never on the Sing Off or any major TV show, but he is still an absolutely incredible artist. He also has some original songs, which one of his original songs is legitimately one of my favorite Christmas songs. I think Dad and I even mentioned it in our in our 12 songs of Christmas that we did a couple of years ago. Go check that out if you are able. But Peter's Disney stuff is definitely what he's best known for. And it's all so stinking good. But he also does a couple of great mashups. One of my favorites is oddly creepy. It's a version of Come Little Children, which I believe is from Hocus Pocus, and The Hanging Tree, which is from The Hunger Games. And that's a really good, but also kind of creepy cover of his. And to segue into the next and last artist that we're going to talk about, we're kind of staying with Peter. My absolute favorite song of his is a collab that he did with the next artist we're going to talk about, Brian Hull. Their DreamWorks medley is amazing. I catch myself when I'm listening to some of the songs from this medley actively beginning to sing the DreamWorks medley and like slotting the DreamWorks the way they arranged the songs in this medley together. But Peter does this with Brian Hull, who is a YouTuber that does impressions of primarily Disney characters, but also DreamWorks characters. He is also a voice actor. He has taken up voice acting more recently, and he's so stinking good. I love watching his videos so much because he just has such joy, but he also has a great natural singing voice outside of his impressions. Um, he has done covers of Out There from Hunchback of Notre Dame, You'll Be Back from Hamilton, as well as Believe from The Polar Express. It Feels Like Christmas from, I believe it's one of the versions of A Christmas Carol, and several others. He is an absolutely incredible singer, and I wish he would do a bit more singing in his natural voice because I think he is just astounding with his vocal range and his natural singing voice. So that's it, guys. I know I kind of blazed through some of those really fast. What are some of your favorite covers? Um, these are some that I could think of. I know that I've probably missed a few. I would also like to give a shout out to like all of the Christmas songs because let's be honest, pretty much every major Christmas song that we enjoy around that holiday is a cover because Christmas has standards. They are the Christmas standards. That's the word Dad uses when he talks about songs that are covered ad nauseum. But I do love the Christmas songs, so I felt they needed a bit of a mention here at the end. But what are some of your favorite colors? Like I said, these are just the ones that I could think of, and like I said, some of them I prefer to the original, some of them I think they're just as good as the original. And yeah, this is something that Dad and I majorly disagree on. He like we've made the joke multiple times on Cross It Kent. Take your bingo cards out because Dad is about to say the cover is never as good as the original. That is patently wrong, in my opinion. I think there are many covers that are just as good, if not in the rare case, better than the original. But let me know y'all's opinions. Do you guys like covers or do you wish everybody would just come up with their own stuff? Let me know down in the comment section below, and don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so that you know every time we upload. We'll be back with you again in 2 weeks, and until then, I'm Kristen. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and thank you for joining me. Bye!